Wide to the right now, Parramatta. Hunt, Taylor, Jerd, Sharp. Now it's Mayers. Cronin a cutout. Picked up on the bounce then by David Lydiard. Off for the corner. Picks up Brett Kenny. Kenny's in. Well, the problem that one has to highlight here is the fact that Parramatta dropped the ball in the process. They knew what they were doing, but they dropped the ball. And to me, that highlights a slowness in defence coming up. I'm also concerned about that passage where Mayers and Cronin became involved, but though it turned out to be a great piece of ball work by Parramatta, Eastern Suburbs apparently didn't come up very quickly.
And you'll see that in the head-on shot, Ray. Just watch here the number of East players who are flat-footed, prepared to stand off their man, and just watch what they're doing with the ball. That's what causes problems like this. We were just talking about it a moment ago. And Parramatta, well, as I say, they're a side that could really whitewash East right now. They could go on with it from here.
Brett Kenny, the try scorer. Hits it nicely. He's got it, Cronin, from the touchline. Parramatta leading Eastern Suburbs 18 points to 0.
Yes, the thing is with Parramatta, they've got the ability to work for tries, but they're not working for tries at the moment. What's happening is there are mistakes being made. They're capitalising on them, and their players are so brilliant. They can just pick up a loose ball, go ahead and score a try from any part of the field, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Ball played by Neil Hunt. This is Peter Sterling. Sterling got rid of Regan. Ella's on his inside. Here's Ella. Now Taylor. Taylor looking for Sterling. Finds him. Sterling's tackled. 10 metres out. Not held. Passes the ball. Dropped by Bugden. Picked up by Stan Jerd. And Jerd is tackled. 3 metres out from the line. Dummy half Taylor. Sterling. 9 metres up. Bugden. Ran into Terry Regan. Now Kenny. Mayers. Passes off the boot of Cronin. And picked up by Gurr. But a penalty has been given to East for passing from the ground by Paul Mayers. Marty Gurr finding the line. Barclay.
At East apparently in search of a miracle to lift them out of this sort of an effort.
Neil, Aleph. Taylor up very quickly making the tackle.
Well, what East will have to do to get themselves out of trouble here is to develop a much tighter marking in their back line.
Mackay did well to get that pass away down to Garrett. Played by the 5/8. Neil, Hastings, Atkins. Gurr coming up. Here's Gurr over the halfway. Infield pass taken by Bugden. Penalty to East. Marty Gurr finding the line on the Parramatta 22. Regan. Alan Neal. Royce Aleph. Neal again. Hastings. Price shutting down a lot of traffic coming up the middle. Mackay. And again around the legs was Ray Price. 3 tackles in a row. Masterman. 3 metres out. Not even that on tackle number 5. Now it's been played ahead, and he's given the try. Referee has given the try to Jeff Masterman. This is how it happened. Tapped it ahead. And I'm not sure whether that's a streamer or the try line that you're actually seeing that's coming up in white. But the referee was standing on top of it, and he was satisfied that Masterman had scored. There's certainly a bit of jostling between marker and man playing the ball.
Well, I was fairly well satisfied that he had in fact, a marker.
Yeah, well, having a marker doesn't make any difference, Graham. You can play the ball any way you like. It's a case of standing facing goal to goal.
Well, you're not supposed to have your hands on the marker and be pushing him aside at the same time.
Yeah, they certainly were interwoven, if you like. However, the try's been given. And Kevin Hastings converts. Parramatta in the Rank Arena big game, leading Eastern Suburbs 18 points to 6. Inside the last 10 minutes now of the first half. Cronin's kickoff going down to Garrett. Garrett steadied by Sterling. This is Fennick, who came on to replace the injured John Tobin. Hastings. Mackay. Hastings now. Aleph. Edge down below. Cronin up the top. Regan. Hastings. Lydiard getting back. The bounce will beat him. Yes, the bounce has beaten him. And a scrum to go down 25 metres out from the Parramatta line. Scrum won against the feed by Parramatta, but a penalty goes to East against the Eels for screwing the scrum again. Gur's kick finds the line about 15 metres out. McFarlane. Neil. Mackay. He's played strongly, John Mackay. Hastings. Gartner. Gartner. Hastings. Oh, the ball lost with the line in their sights. Gartner's done a couple of clever things in the match so far.
Well, of course, he was an international footballer when he played with Manly. Now he's come to Eastern Suburbs. He has been hamstrung by injuries, but he's a very fine footballer.
Drop out by Cronin without elevation. Barclay. Mackay.
Gee, he's having a good game, John Mackay. He's one of the few Eastern Suburbs forwards that really is hitting the ball up hard and looking to offload.
Here's Aleph.
Yes, and when he does hit the ball up out wide, especially, say 1 or 2 out, I'd like to see the East inside backs get with him.
Garrett. Gur. Garrett. Pulled down by Taylor. Hastings. Gur. Barclay. Tackled in the field of play. Neil. Hastings. This is their last tackle. The bomb test for David Lydiard. Oh, they're all over the place. Let's see who's got it. I think it's a tricolour ball, but he's ruled knock-ons against both. He's ruled knock-ons in goal and a line dropout. what happened. And the referee has restarted play with the line dropout. Marty Gurr puts the kick over the top. Ray Price dives on it. Midway through the first half. Neil giving it to Mackay. Mackay tackled about 7 metres short of the line. Regan, Neil. Little kick over the top. Steve Ellis underneath it. Parramatta has made a mistake, but the ball was over the dead ball line when Graham Atkins arrived. And it's out to the 22-way line for the restart. This was the kick. And...
well, it looked like it might have been a line drop out there, the ball being put dead by one of the Parramatta players.
Yes, well, he's obviously ruled that it came off an East player. Atkins, of course, getting there just a shade too late anyway. But here's Parramatta now with the ball just inside their 32-metre line. Ray Price. And backing up was Taylor. Taylor hit from behind by Masterman.
And once again, we saw there that willingness of the Parramatta players to pass the ball in tackles and to continue to put pressure on the Eastern Suburbs defence.
Sharp shrugging off a couple of tackles. Mears. Edge. Sterling. Jerd. Jerd. Tackle on the halfway. Tackle number 5. Sterling. Kick for touch from Sterling is a good one. It crosses the touchline just inside the 22. So a scrum will go down with the Eastern Suburb side to feed and the loose head. Fed by Neil, won by Parramatta. Price picked it up from the lock forward position, and then Ella put it down, and East have come back up with it. That's Fennick, and a penalty. He's got the markers for not standing directly behind one another. Marty Gurr's line kick, crossing that point. And here's the tap to be taken by the Eastern Suburbs side.
Comes in for a share of attention, doesn't he, Terry Regan?
Aleph. Mackay. Masterman, Neil, Hastings, Gurr, McFarlane, taken by Lydiard. This is Fennick. 5 tackles gone now for East. Here's Neil. That kick has gone straight up and down. Allowed to bounce. And it's down with Gartner for Eastern Suburbs, and that'll be the turnover.
We saw there the experience of Mick Cronin. He made no effort to go up and take the ball and give Eastern Suburbs the possibility of another 6 tackles. Waited for the Eastern Suburbs player to catch the ball, then tackled him ball and all, so that Parramatta got the turnover.
Jerd. Cronin. Sterling. Jerd. Cronin. It's Taylor. Now the last tackle for Parramatta. Sterling. Oh, taken magnificently by Kevin Hastings. A diving one-handed catch to his right. And it's being played by Fennick. That's Davis. Regan. Hastings. Garrett. Over the halfway. And then forced back by the Parramatta defence. Hastings across now to Mackay. Davis has put it down, picked up by Parramatta. They'll stretch it quickly. Cronin inside to Kenny. Kenny's flying. Gurr's after him. Oh, and then Kenny's pass has gone a mile in front of Neil Hunt. This was the replay after they picked up that loose ball put down by Stuart Davis. Price gave it quickly to Kenny, and then Kenny, he just passed without having a look for where Neil Hunt was. Now Fennick has been replaced by Matthew Cruikshank. Loose ball, and it's come down with Eastern Suburbs, and he's given the penalty to the Roosters.
Need to shake themselves up a bit, the Eels. I think they're trying to play the game far too much up the middle of rucks in the second half and not spreading the ball to the wings as they were earlier on. Eastern Suburbs, on the other hand, are playing with a lot more confidence, and it might well be that an 18-12 scoreline instead of 18-6 might be just the tonic that'll stir them up.
Ball played by Regan. This is Ailiff. Now Hastings. And that's Cruikshank. Tackle about 15 metres out from the line. Davis, Masterman, Hastings, Atkins. Taken by Cronin, Kenny and Lydiard. Gurr, Mackay. Ball lost. And the referee is going to put a scrum down. A touch judge in to make another report. It would seem that it's Ray Price. Well, he's pointing to the dressing rooms. Ray Price has been sent from the field. Has he, or is he just taking the penalty back?
There's no sin bin. He's been sent straight off.
I think he has. Ray Price. Sent from the field by the referee, acting on a touch judge report.
It was an incident involving Royce Ailiff, but was well off the ball and well, or I should say well away from where the ball was situated.
Now here was Ailiff. Ailiff passed the ball, and Price using his legs to make the tackle on Ailiff. Kevin Hastings taking the penalty kick. It's a good one. Hastings has brought the flags up. Parramatta leading by 18 points to 8, but now with only 12 men. Fed by Sterling, won by Parramatta. This is Ella. Now it's Lydiard. David Lydiard tackled. 8 metres short of halfway. Tackled by Atkins. Now it's with Sharp. Looks on the inside, looks outside, still standing. Now he gets it back for Jerd. And Jerd is tackled a few metres into the Roosters' half. Taylor. Cronin. Cronin. Well, he went straight through them. Brute strength from Cronin. That's Neil Hunt. Deep inside East area. Played by Kenny. Jerd. Good tackle on Jerd. Forced him back. Atkins was the man. Last tackle. Taylor switches it to Sterling. He grub kicks through for Neil Hunt, but it's beaten him. And it's going to be a scrum 5 metres away from the east line. Scrum won by Parramatta. Sterling gets a pass away, and Neil Hunt has gone in. Well, how simple it was. With a scrum won by Parramatta, Peter comes the open side, Sterling, and he immediately ferrets around towards the blind. He stood Marty Gurr up, took a tackle from Alan Neil, drew another fellow, committed the number 16, Davis, before giving it to Neil Hunt, and Hunt picks up the try, made for him by Peter Sterling, and a good heel from Stephen Edge.
Well, yes, a good heel against the feed, and another scrum that we saw screwed right round. But I thought that try was brought about by the fact that Parramatta, for one of the few times in this half to date, they've used up the earlier set of 6 tackles in possession, maintained the possession. They didn't show the panic that they showed in trying to get the ball away in impossible situations.
This will be a good kick from Cronin. He's got the breeze blowing at right angles across the flight path. There it goes. Looks good. The touch judges haven't moved. He's kicked it, Cronin. Oh, that's a mighty kick from out there. Parramatta 24, Eastern Suburbs 8. Kevin Hastings restarts. Mayers. Bugden. Sterling. Around Regan. Takes Mackay. Gets the pass back. And to play it is Paul Mayers. On the halfway. Taylor. Taken to ground by Cruikshank. Crowd here today, 10,918.
Well, that was a penalty that looked like it could have gone the other way. Paul Taylor was interfered with as he went to get up to play the ball. Finally, the Eastern Suburbs player fell over, but they've received the penalty.
$24 points to 8 in favour of Parramatta, playing with 12 men, and have been now for about 5 minutes, with Ray Price being sent from the field. The referee acting on a touch judge report. It was a tackle that Price made on Aleph, where he used his legs to make the tackle, and he was subsequently sent from the field of play, Ray Price, to go before the judiciary on Monday. Hastings, Aleph, Neil, and then Gartner ran into Hastings. Playing it back to Alan Neil near the touchline inside the 22. Cruikshank back to Neil. Across now to Garrett. And he's met there by the Parramatta defence in the centre of the ground, 12 metres out. Mackay. Neil. Stephen Sharp taking it and getting himself back into the field of play. That's a tidy piece of work. No marker, so Sharp takes another 15 metres.
Full credit to the Parramatta defence too for making East resort to the bomb with only 12 men on the field.
Yes, well, Eastern Suburbs have got some classy backs, players such as Davis, Gartner and so on, but the ball's just not getting out along their back line, and I think that they've got to find some answers in close to this stifling Parramatta defence.
Jeff Masterman just getting to his feet, and he's pretty groggy too. In fact, I saw Stan Jurd give him a hand to his feet. Twice in the match we've seen acts of sportsmanship from Stan Jurd, which is good to see, isn't it, in any form of sport. Here's Jeff Bugden hitting it up. Back to Stephen Edge. Edge's tackle 32 metres out from the east line. Now through Sterling to Ellard to Sterling to Kenny, and Kenny gets the pass back, but Terry Regan was there. Garrett, Atkins, cut out pass to McFarlane. Sharp across in cover. Now Garrett. This is Cruikshank.
And he's been very impressive in his short stay on the field, Cruikshank.
Neal. Mackay's coming from deep. That's him. Hasn't put a foot wrong all day, John Mackay. He's been very solid for Eastern Suburbs. Atkins. Gurr. Back to Garrett. Held by Jerd and Edge. Tackle number 5. Out to Kevin Hastings. And he's turned Paul Taylor around. And here comes the Peter Sterling lookalike. Neil Hunt. Hunt. Oh, Lydia. Now, how fast is this fellow? Goes after him. Oh, Kenny's on the inside. Kenny in for his second try. Well, that all started back with Neil Hunt, who has the ability to make breaks out of nothing. He took a couple of steps on the one blade of grass. Then he found the flying machine. Youngster called David Lydiard. I thought he might have outpaced the whole lot of them, but he used his brains and said, well, Marty Gurr might get me, but he won't get this fellow. And Kenny said, thank you, and I'll take another. Parramatta zoom away further now.
Yes, a huge step from Hunt off that right foot. Away he goes, and infield always backing up as ever David Lydiard. And quite often we have criticised the man for maybe not looking for his support when he does make the break, but on that occasion uses his brains. And again, another man always in support, Brett Kenny.
Kenny picks up his second. Michael Cronin from right in front. Cronin raises the flags and Parramatta go further in front. They're leading by 30 points to 8. That gap of 22 points between these sides is the difference in points when they first met back at Belmore. But I think with about 12 minutes to go, that scoreline was around about 6 points to 4 that day. Here's Ella finding Taylor. Taylor flung to the ground by Alan Neal. Played quickly back to Edge and given out to Sharp. Sharp's going up the middle and inside the quarter. Picks up Steve Ella. Ella will score. Ella picks up a try for Parramatta. Well, Steve Sharp called for it, saw a gap, ran into it, had Peter Sterling with him, took the defence, spun and found Ella, and then Ella ran into a gap that you'd expect to find in a 12-man team, but in fact he's playing with a 12-man team.
Yes, and it's amazing that a team with just the 12 players can be finishing all over a side. Touted as challengers in the semi-finals this year, just can't come up with the goods. Parramatta were struggling just after half-time, but now, so since the send-off of Ray Price, they've certainly started to lift their game.
Mick Cronin, no chance of any mistakes with him today. He's kicking magnificently, and Parramatta leading by 36 points to 8. So Michael Cronin given an early use of the shower, and Jeff Bugden has also been relieved of his engagement by Coach Gibson. Now the players on are Mark Laurie and Will Harris, I think it is, yes. As Jerd goes up the centre. 12 metres from the halfway. Sterling. Kenny. Short ball for Harris. Harris is over the halfway, but that's a good tackle. And again made by Graham Atkins. Now Jerd. He's getting involved in everything, Jerd. He's lost it though. Mackay's come down with it. Neal. Garrett. Short pass to Cruikshank. And Mayers across makes the tackle. Neil. Regan. Taken by Edge and Sharp. Of course, we'll have our Rank Arena Electronic Sales and Rentals Man of the Match Award for you at the conclusion of play, together with all the results from the Winfield Cup today. Cruikshank taken over the top again by Mayers. Out to Neil and on to Garrett, and now with Gardner. Gardner cuts out a player, gets it to Davis. A race between Hunt and Davis. Hunt's got it. Neil Hunt to play the ball. Brett Kenny's the dummy half.
And there are some very tired Eastern Suburbs forwards filling in out here in their defensive back line.
Sharp. Sterling. Jerd. Hunt. Might have looked as though he dropped that ball, but I tend to think he dropped it onto the foot to kick it. There's your scrums and penalties for you. 12-8 penalties to Easts and 6-5 scrums to Parramatta. And a penalty to Parramatta. And he's got the front row for not packing in correctly, as the touch judge comes on to tell Stan Jerd to have a rest, and Chris Phelan has gone on. So Phelan on for Jerd, Harris on for Cronin, Laurie on for Bugden. Tap taken by Edge, given to Sterling, and in comes Hunt from his wing, and he's put down heavily. The ball lost, picked up by Laurie, and he's tackled about 5 metres out from the line. Dummy half is Paul Taylor. This is Paul Mayers. So after all of that, Paul Mayers plays the ball. Sterling, Kenny, spins it. Oh, and Phelan puts it down. Played by Cruikshank. This is Masterman. Edge over the top. Down below was Phelan. Alan Neil dropping the ball, and the referee ruling a knock-on. So this scrum 10 metres out from the east line will be fed by Peter Sterling, and Paul Mayers will have the loose head, just the tiniest of knock-ons. And fisticuffs on the other side of the scrum. And the touch judge has come in from that side. It's been quite a lengthy run for him, but he's arrived now. Masterman and Edge, the two gentlemen being spoken to. That's what it looked like head on. And Easts have come up with the penalty. Regan. Tackled by Stephen Edge and Mark Laurie, and Regan is hurt. Terry Regan receiving attention. Away to Neil, on to Groves. And he charges up towards the halfway, gets a pass down to Alan Neil. Chris Phelan comes up with the ball low, and the traffic is going in the different direction now, with Chris Phelan to play it. Well, I've never seen so many children on the sidelines and allowed to stay there with the match, I realise, nearly over. But most referees would call time out and have them removed, as we find Taylor taking it down to the 32. Trouble is for the youngsters, they don't realise if one of these big fellows suddenly gets thrown into touch or the like. Look at this kick from Ella. A giant of a drop goal from Steve Ella, and it's a one-pointer. Well, that must have been from something like 40 metres out. Steve Ella, as calmly as you like, has taken the score to 37-8, right in the centre of the ground. He was about 37 metres out. And a magnificent drop goal. Kick-off taken by Laurie. Here's Phelan. And that's the siren in the background, bringing a merciful ending to this game for Eastern Suburbs. After having just a brief hope, a glimmer of hope in the second half, the Parramatta machine just stormed away from them to win by 37 points to 8. Lydiard, Sterling, Hunt and Ella tries, Kenny 2 tries, Ella a drop goal, Cronin 6 goals, and for East, Masterman a try, Hastings 2 goals. Well, that's the story from the Sydney Sports Ground as the children now get their chance to greet their idols. And we'll be greeting Graham Hughes in the dressing rooms in just a moment. 20, Penrith 18. There's the top half of the premiership table now. Manly on 40, Parramatta 36, Canterbury 32. Balmain has leapfrogged Eastern Suburbs and moved to 4th on 30 now. East's on 29, and then 4 points away to Norths and St George. And there for the records are the other teams, headed by Souths on 23. Now, next week's matches for you, Canberra, St George, Parramatta, Balmain will undoubtedly be the match of the weekend. Norths and East, Souths and Manly, and an important game there for Canterbury too against Western Suburbs, Cronulla versus Illawarra and Penrith versus Newtown. And so from the Sydney Sports Ground, after the win by Parramatta here today, on behalf of Network 10 Sports, I'm Ray Warren.